A
I got
fucking
I have kind of a funny story to start the show with.
sure.
It's funny in that I've been driving without a license for 3 months.
Oh, really?
I
Wow.
this morning there was a story on Twitter X about Elon. Actually, it had something to do with the Canadian government. They were gonna spend X a million dollars on a project,
Mm-hmm.
and one of our fine politicians said he can do it cheaper, and then another one said we hate these foreign people, and then someone else said Mr. Musk is Canadian, which he partially is. He has Canadian
Yeah, South
South of
Africa.
yeah,
Yeah.
South Africa. But when they said that, they put all the stats up there. And Mr. Musk was born June 28th, 1971, which is my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to make that the same day I was born. And so I was going to make a wise ass about it. So I go to pull my ID and I was going to take a picture of it. And I realized, oh, 2019. And it expired June 28th, 2024. So I've been driving without a fucking license,
Oh,
which is
wow.
a so I'm going in the morning very toot sweet and go and get my license, get the picture taken because it's like a $300 fine if you pulled over.
Oh, you got to get the picture taken too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got to get the picture taken too, and the weight on my fucking license is just fucking. It's the best science fiction I'd read in quite a while.
Oh, wow. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
it's like it said it was. What did it say? It said something like 200. No, sorry, it came out to like 220 pounds, and I'm like, fuck, that was a long time ago. But
Holy
anyway,
crap.
I got to go in the morning and get an ID, and so thanks, Elon, for giving me a heads up. I mean, between he and I, we're billionaires basically.
Oh, really?
Our total combined net worth makes us most billionaires. But I said to Susan, I said, Jesus Christ, it's like you can't help if you're a little inadequate when a guy born the same day is a fucking billionaire, and you're decidingly not.
Yeah.
So
Oh, fuck. I'm still trying to
he's
figure
my
this thing out.
they
Sorry, go
call
ahead.
him They call them birthday twins. I guess when you're born on the same day as someone, they call them birthday twins. So
Oh.
Elon Musk is my birthday twin. So I had no idea. That's fucking wild. You think of I tend to think of celebrities as kind of separate, but the fact that that guy was born the same day I was, and he's a fucking billionaire, and I'm a 100,000-aire maybe.
Yeah.
But
Fuck. Um, yeah, he's been a little strange lately.
well, he's the thing I put on there that they did a spacewalk, the first one in 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, politics aside, the fact that no one is saying fucking kudos is a
Mm-hmm.
bit weird. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, politics aside, if you don't like him, that's fine. But like, he's in space, which I
Mm-hmm.
thought was a big thing. But I don't know, everything's so fucking skewed now. It's not funny. So
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. I found out what I found what I was looking for.
there you
So,
go.
but yeah, it's really weird. I'm looking at the this when it shows the recording. Like I said,
Guys, I'm bringing the party to you.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
You big dummy. Oh, great Odin's raven. Say hello to my little friend.
I stepped in a ditch last night, man. I almost closed my balls off, man.
You take drugs, Danny? Every day. Good. What's the problem?
Yeah, David.
Oh, we know punchy beer well without.
On the doctor. What's up, guys?
This aggression will not stand, man.
Engage.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
I don't know which is which here. Okay, like one's okay. Anyways, fuck it. I'll use this. I'll turn it
Something
off again.
comic. Have some comic related too. A while ago, Leah given me a card. Maybe you've seen it down the shop. The world's largest comic collection.
Yeah, he talked about this
so-
guy. He did everything. He's in town, isn't he?
Yeah, he's in town. He's local, and so I kind of went and followed him on. I didn't follow him on Facebook, but I looked him up on Facebook, and he's working towards being the world's largest.
He's not yet.
Yeah, he's got like, I want to say 100,000, but the top guy, he says the top guy is 138,000. I know for a fact there's two guys that have over 160,000, and there's guys that just don't talk about that shit.
Yeah.
They bury that like treasure. I guarantee you. I know for a fact there's two guys over 160,000. They have 160 original comic. It's 160,000 original comics in their collection, and there's a couple of guys that I suspect that they do, and they just don't talk about it. So he's running for the Guinness World Record. It's the Wentworth family collection. He wants to bring the Guinness World Book of Records to Canada, but he's at 100,000 now, and he's got to reach 138, and I honestly think it's higher, but we'll see how it goes. That's the guy that gets one of everything that Lee's always talking about. But he didn't post his collection. It's weird. The thing really doesn't show anything about his collection. It's just, hey, yeah, I've got a bunch of these. He just lists off stuff that he's bought, but you don't show anything.
Look at the shit I got, right? Basically.
Yeah. Well, he just talks about it. There's no pictures or anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, doesn't mean anything. Does it mean shit from Shine Oil?
When I show my dick off, I show everybody on the internet and wave it around. So.
That's nice. Default off. Okay, I'm still fucking around with this thing a little bit because I'm not too worried because this is recording. So
what do you want to start? News.
Oh, actually,
reviews,
we should start.
Boobs.
Got some boobs.
Got some boobies.
Hey everybody. What?
Sydney Sweeney. I'll tell you a story. Do the intro.
Okay. Hey, hey everybody. How's it going? This is the Pulp Culture Cafe. Welcome aboard. This is season 12, episode 314. It is just myself and Scott, or Tits McGee, whatever he feels like going by. And you've heard him talking already. And that's happening. Sometimes you just get in and then halfway through or three-quarters, remember we should tell you who we are and what the show is. So this is the sit-down Wednesday shows, or this is a recording on Sunday. I drop it on the Wednesday. And in between me dropping the Old Time Radio, this is the monthly. We should get back to doing two a month, right? So and then Scott is the news hound. He seems to be able to find stuff that still interests him, so I just tag along and go along with what he's talking about and then go off there. So anyways, what do you got? Tets, you said?
You know what? When you said welcome aboard, the first thing I thought it was a love boat.
Oh yeah.
It's like
goat.
Yeah, welcome aboard, everyone. Captain Stubing.
Yeah.
But I was talking about Sydney Sweeney. She put a picture up on Instagram.
The one with the t-shirt?
Yeah, she's been hanging out with a Hawk Tuohy girl. And
it had those cocks.
That was a Hawk Tuohy girl. That's why she had all the That's why she had all the cocks on her fucking t-shirt there.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact that she had that thing with her tongue, I was like, you fucking. It's so refreshing to have a very, very beautiful woman that obviously has a fucking filthy sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I think it's so fresh. It's so fresh in today's age where, and that thing about sorry about my great tits and that kind of stuff that she was putting on t-shirts. It's so refreshing, and she's smart too. I think she's a marketing major. She went to a university in Ontario, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And she's so smart about it. They can't. She's Teflon. They've tried to take her down. They've tried to, put your tits away, that kind of stuff. She's like, fuck off. I know how to do this. I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna be more famous than you are. And she's doing it right. And every picture I see her, I'm thinking, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Show off those.
I thought that was the Hawk 2 girl, but I wasn't sure. So
she's been very smart. I mean, when it first happened, I was thinking, okay, you'll get your 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. But she's done a lot of charity work with that. She's done a lot of charity work with animal shelters, and she's turned her 15 minutes into 30.
Oh yeah.
And she seems to be dragging it out. I've seen her in places that I never thought I'd see her if
Mhm.
someone had asked me 6 months ago when
Yeah, yeah.
all that shit first went down.
Yeah.
The weird thing is that clip was floating around the internet for like 6 months before it actually hit.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that wasn't one of those things. I call it manufactured. It's a term I've used for it. It's manufactured hype,
Yeah.
where all of a sudden one day they decided to make it go viral, and it did. But that was floating around for a while. A lot of stuff out there is floating around for a while. They'll just bring it up to see if they can, make a conversation of it for the day on X.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's good. All the whole power to her, and both of them
Yeah.
actually. Yep, power to both of them.
If she makes some money, why not?
Yep.
So news, and you may have heard about this. James Spader is going to be returning as Ultron.
Oh, yeah, I
in the
saw
Vision
that.
series. Yeah. Terry Matalas, and this is what encouraged me, and I was sitting there saying to myself, I may actually watch this. Terry Matalas from Picard is going to serve as the executive producer and showrunner. And that was very interesting to me. I was like, okay, that works. One thing I did notice about it when I was reading the different articles for it in Variety and Deadline and a few others, there's no mention of the comics. And that particular storyline between Ultron and Vision and Hank Pym has such a rich history in comics, and no mention of comics anywhere in any of the articles I read. And I'm thinking, you guys just, I don't know whether they see it as competition, which is kind of weird if they do, but to not mention that and just mention the little bit of history we've seen in the show is weird, especially from someone who's read a lot of the comic history between those two entities. Yeah. But I guess it's just where we're at. It's being produced in England. It's being released in 2026. And I remember Spader was on the Blacklist. Did you watch the Blacklist at all?
No, I didn't.
When Spader was on the Blacklist, and he was announced in 2015, I remember how good I thought that voice would be for Ultron, and it was a pretty good voice. I'm not sure why the movie itself never took off on all cylinders like I thought it would, but I hope now that the Blacklist is done, he can really dive into the character a bit more, because him and I can't remember what the Vision's voice actor's name is. It'll come to me, but
well, it's the same Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany, yes. Him and Paul Bettany.
He plays the Vision too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think they had really good chemistry in the scenes from Age of Ultron. So I'm hoping it'll be just a very, very well written story. As I said, Terry Matalas, when I heard he was executive producing it, I was thinking, okay, that I'm sold on it so far anyway.
Yeah. Okay, well, you brought that up, so I'm going to bring something up. Is it? Yes, tomorrow, is it? Today's 15th, 16th, 17th, and Wednesday, the Agatha supposed to premiere. Any interest in watching that?
I am a huge fan of there's I can't remember the actress's name, and I remember when I saw she was starring in it. She was on Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
She the one with black hair. You know exactly what I'm speaking about.
I had her name.
Yeah, it pisses me off that I can't remember. She's a very good actress.
Yep.
She's funny as hell. The fact she's in it, and I think I put a tweet out there about it, that it may be worth watching. I've always been a fan of Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
I just, it's such, they're taking such liberties with the character that I don't know. I don't have Disney Plus for one, so I probably won't end up watching it right away. But
okay.
I'm very much, if the market wants it, the market wants it. But I mean, this era of Marvel for Disney is very much, the money grabbers, where they're like, they're doing it for the paycheck. They don't have any connection at all to the comic lore.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah. She's a naughty little minx too. Some of the stuff she's done, some of the stuff she's done for laughs has been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Do you know Jerry on Parks and Rec? Do you know the big guy?
Yeah.
The big guy Jerry on Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
They were on late night TV. Who's the guy? Not Fallon, not Colbert, but the other guy, Seth Meyers.
Yeah.
It's on Seth Meyers. And there was a song called Bye Bye Little Sebastian about a horse that died on the show.
Yeah.
And they're singing out the song, and those two start making out. and it was fucking hilarious because Chris Pratt's playing the song, and he doesn't realize this big guy and her are making out right behind his back, and he turns around like, "What the fuck did I just walk into?" But she's hilarious. She's hilarious, and I mean, I'm a big fan of her acting, so on that alone, I'd probably end up checking it out. But I'd have to get the Disney Plus app first.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, sorry, I'm still fucking around here trying why things ain't working the way they should be. But in any case, don't fucking care.
No.
No.
Oh, are you gonna watch it?
What? No. I'm not in a hurry to watch it. I'm kind of tired of it. Actually, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean,
they've got all the.
They've got to get a few wins under their belt before I'm gonna go back there. I mean, Deadpool was a great. I'm like, okay, you guys knocked it out of the park, but you also had the A-Team. I mean, they got to get a few wins under their belt before I'm going to go back and watch anything Marvel, to be honest. I mean, they have, I don't know what's coming up next on their schedule, but I'm not going to anything until they have a couple of wins.
Yeah.
Because it's been just loss after loss. And my understanding, actually, they announced that, I don't know whether it's during Agatha Harkness. Remember Eternals, the hand coming out of the sky? That
the Eternals in the head, yeah.
And they just never mentioned it again.
Yeah.
And I guess they are going to reference that at some point in time in some upcoming project. But I wish them all the best. I hope it does well. But until people say, "Wow, that's really good," and no one has been saying it, there's been a lot of bullshit out there. It's funny. The Rings of Power. I've come across more accounts that are just, I call them blowjob accounts, because there's nothing else on there. There's nothing else on their timeline, and there's nothing else they talk about but just sucking on Prime's Rings of Power, how awesome it is, and it's great, and you should really give it a chance. But when you look at the history, it's just, that's all they talk about, and it's painfully obvious they're just bought and paid for sponsor accounts. But if you have a chance, Charlie Nickerson, his reviews are just fucking beautiful. They're about 20 minutes long, and he's so funny.
Yeah.
So.
No, I saw when I was trying to look for something to talk about, and that interested me, and I saw that, and it come up because it doesn't interest me. Not, it's like I have I don't really want to go watch it.
Agatha Harkness, you mean?
Yeah, Agnes Harkness.
Yeah.
I have no interest in watching it. So.
Well, they're just creating. They're getting further and further away from the lore. I mean, they've done that with everything, but it was, a lot of times it was at least based in reality. But they're doing their own thing now. I mean, Captain America's coming up next February.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think that's going to be the hit they think it's going to be. It's very expensive. Harrison Ford, I don't think is going to be the draw they think it's going to be. He basically said, "I've done a lot of stupid things for money, and this is just another thing." That quote was like, they were probably just going, "Oh, fuck Harrison, just say how much you loved it," But he was like, "Yeah, I did it for the money.
Yeah.
Thanks."
Yeah.
And then I don't know what's coming out after that. I know Doomsday is coming out in 2026, 27, 25, 26, something like that. No, Secret War, sorry. The one with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, okay, when you said Doomsday, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no, there is a thing. But yeah, Secret Wars is coming out in 26, 27, 25, 26, something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are still like, no, that was a bad choice for Doom.
Yeah.
I mean, and when it leaked that, I want to say his name right, Mags Mikkelsen.
Yes, something like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. When they said he was in the running, that even put more fuel in the fire, because they're like, "Fuck, he really was perfect Doom." Yeah. I mean, when they talked about casting before, I said that's the kind of guy they need, but they just, they just panicked. I mean, this whole thing that they've done just seems like panic, where they're just like, let's try and bring back some of the magic.
Yeah.
I can't fathom how much money they paid Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers to come back and just try and start the engine, so to speak.
I think it kind of had its run, honestly. I think it's had its run. It's like anything, cowboy pictures for the longest time.
Yeah.
were the thing. They were making because they're cheap to make, but Cowboys got, and then suddenly just had their run. They were kind of done. Things matured or changed because of the 60s and the film influence of newer and younger directors and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
the westerns weren't important. I think it'll never go away. Just like
No.
westerns, but westerns are far and few between, and superhero movies are far and few between. And the other things, the budgets won't be crazy, which a few movies and TV shows have shown that you don't need a big budget to produce something well.
Yeah.
But Hollywood doesn't seem to think that. They seem to think you need to spend $500 million.
Well, if Disney's able to trot out an Avatar, a Deadpool every 2 years and an Avatar every 2 years, which is the plan, because they plan on having 4 more Avatars.
Yeah.
And they make 1.3 billion or 1.2 billion, and they make, because I know the last Avatar made Disney $653 million profit.
Mm-hmm.
And this Deadpool is probably going to make them, well, it's made, I just read today that it's made $1.3 billion. And I would bet that 800 to 900 million of that is profit.
Yeah.
That's all they need.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they need. If they can, they can make these shitty films that are going to cost them 50, 70, 100 million 3-4 times a year. If they can make one big one each year to kind of balance the spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
The X-Men, I don't know. It's one of those things that I had mentioned at the shop there. I don't think it's going to be Xavier. I don't think it's going to be Magneto. I think it's going to be Emma Frost.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go in that direction that they kind of did with the. I'm just finishing up the Krakoan Age, and it looks like they're going with more of a female lead. And I said in the shop, if they can hold it off 5 to 7 years, I don't think it'll be the X-Men. I really do think it'll be the X-Women. Mm-hmm. I really do, because they're really pushing the female characters in the X-Men comics now.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Yeah. It's usually how it works in the shop now. You come in and you have all this information, and I just kind of go along with everything.
Yeah.
You and Tristan and.
I kind of already talked about this, but Dexter,
I saw a thing that either I saw a picture of it saying, they're what the words I'm looking. They kept rebooting it, and he's going to show the start of him when he was a little boy, something like that.
Well, they're going to have 2 shows. They're going to do Resurrection, and that's basically going to be a sequel to Dexter: New Blood, which is the one. It was one season there about, I think it was 2 years ago now. It had Clancy Brown in it. It was really, really good, actually. I was pleasantly surprised because the last season of the original series was pretty shitty, and it kind of redeemed it a bit. And when he was laying, spoiler alert, he was kind of laying there, but they didn't actually confirm he was dead. Mm-hmm. So I'm not surprised, but the character, the actor Michael C. Hall is kind of typecast at that. He's Dexter. People see him and they think Dexter. So, and it's not really a brand that's been overplayed. So if they want to get a couple of more seasons out of it, the last season was really well done. As I said, Clancy Brown, there are a couple of other good actors in it. And it was original because it kind of took place, reminded me a bit of Fargo. Did you ever see Fargo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, the movie I saw.
Yeah, it took place in the wintertime, and it was kind of like one of those murder mystery things, and it was a nice change of venue from Miami or wherever they were at before. For the prequel, I think he's going to do a narrative. I think he's going to narrate it like his dad did in the original series. So it's going to be called Dexter Original Sin, and he's going to narrate it. But it's as I said, it's a product that really hasn't been overexposed. It had a few comics, but they weren't really big. I remember Les Moonves saying he was really embarrassed it was at CBS when it was on. He hated it.
Yeah, he
hated the fact that they had a story about a serial killer, but he was too busy fucking his ladies to care that much about it. So he's out now, but I'm looking forward to it. Actually, there's very few shows that have been kind of proven that I should say when they come back that they do really well, and this one did really well. So I'm open for a couple of more seasons to see how it goes. But they can't go too much further because there's only so many times they can do that before they actually really jump the shark, so to speak. So
Do you I was wondering, we were talking about the on Saturday, and I started thinking again, just one of the reasons they do a lot of reboots now is because the quality of writers and writing and creative thinking has really gone down the shitter. Because we talked about that, how the a lot of writing is from experience, and that a lot of new
life
writers
experience, yeah.
life experience, and you said life experience, and then a lot of them live in the basement. They don't. Their life experience is through internet and stuff.
the last 5 years, especially when the pandemic was going on, no one was traveling, no one was really doing anything, and even before that, I found it from about 2016 on. There's a generation of writers who really never explored the world and really never lived life. And I mentioned as
Yeah, but
yeah,
what I'm saying, I think it's that's why you get so many reboots, because they've got no original thinking.
yeah, or maybe you get to a point where all the stories are told. But I mean, like with, for instance, the one I've reminded of the most is Tolkien. He was able to create that world
Yeah.
because after living through the horrors of I think World War One and World War 2 it was in the 1954. It was really fresh in their mind. So that kind of and some of the best writers I've found, they're able to take places they've been and use those as locales, which really fleshes out the story because they remember that locale so particular, or people they met in that locale that they're able to incorporate it into their stories. And I think that's really missing today because I don't think people travel as much. I don't think
Freeze frame.
with humans.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
freezing up there for a little bit.
Let it freeze up.
Yeah. Oh, you're back.
Okay. But yeah, I think that there's not as much human interaction, and when you don't have as much human interaction, you don't have as much really good human stories to tell, and that's unfortunately happening. But I also think Hollywood, they're terrified. The movie industry almost went out of business, and you're seeing in the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years, a lot of stuff being greenlit, nostalgia based, where they're just like, either let's do a sequel or let's redo it, because they don't want to put a lot of money into anything really new because they're terrified of it bombing because they've had a rough time the last couple of years.
I wonder, Roger Corman passing away, I wonder if there's anybody who's going to come along and take his place.
Who's Roger Corman again?
Roger Corman was the he introduced a lot of Ron Howard, Martin Scorsese, the guy that does the Terminator,
James Cameron.
James Cameron. You take a lot of these and they teach them how to make movies as cheaply as possible. But you have a certain budget. You're gonna do it. You have to be innovative. You have to do stuff. He's really. If you don't I'm surprised you don't know who he is, because he's quite famous in Hollywood just for taking so many.
I've probably heard of him.
But
yeah, and there used to be a lot of that too. There used to be a lot of when you watch Inside the Actor Studio, and you'd see a lot of mention of these mentors, and they did. I mean, there's a reason why guys like Lucas and Spielberg became the wonder kids that they did in their industry. Now, if you make a movie and you make it for $90 million and it makes $270 million, you're a bona fide star because you've made 3 times the amount. Back then, they made like 25 times the amount. I mean, the budgets of Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark and that, they made 10 times the amount of money back, and that was what made them the directors that they were. Now, the bar's not near as high.
I bet you if you punch in his name, you'll see a list of different stuff. Like he did the Fantastic Four. He did a version of Fantastic Four.
Yes, I've seen the footage.
Yeah, so that's a Roger Corman production.
Yeah. Okay.
Eat My.
That's
Dust,
where I heard his
Ron
name
Howard.
before.
Yeah, Ron Howard did a couple movies. He directed them and starred in them. So, but I always said this, and I don't know if I said it to you. I might have, but if I had the money, I would start a small studio with that kind of style. You know, you got $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, and this is what you have to make. And if you do it right, because I've always heard that if you do it right, you can make your money back in international sales.
Godzilla. The last Godzilla film, $15 million, and he made how like 150, 160 million.
Yeah.
It can be done. It can be done, but there seems to be something, and it seems to be fading a bit. The last 7 to 8 years, there's something that's been going on in Hollywood where it's very much message based, and they've just been pissing away money.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we can go through the usual suspects they've been talked about before. Well, they'll spend millions on TV shows and get nothing back, and they seem absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
The Acolyte comes to mind, and She-Hulk comes to mind, where millions, like movie budgets for TV shows that just flop, and it's like, on to the next one. Mm-hmm. And it's weird that that's happening now, because I remember hearing stories of James Cameron having to beg for money to finish Titanic, mm-hmm. or Rocky. He got 350. He wanted 350,000 for that script, and he had to settle for 35,000 to be able to act in it. Just stuff like that, where they're just scripting dollars.
Yeah.
And it's weirdly enough, that seems to have gone away in the last 10 years, and it's starting to come back, I think, now. But Alien Romulus was made. I've seen a bunch of it. Keeps popping up my X feed. It was made for $80 million, and it's made $330 million. Mm-hmm. And someone seems very proud of that, because it keeps on popping up in a bunch of different stories. Yeah. But that's not bad. But that's 3 or 4 times. But the guys back in the day, 10 times was when you became a bona fide director, and people were like, fuck, this guy's great. We can get 10 times the return.
The other thing I forget about is distributing. You have to give someone willing enough to distribute your films too.
Yeah. I mean,
and then we know Disney and that they'll buy up all the theaters to just get their movies in there, and so you don't have a place to show it.
There was something interesting that happened this weekend. There is a movie from the Daily Wire called "Am I Racist?"
Yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah,
it was in a bunch of theaters. It was in a lot more theaters than I thought it would be, and it came in 3rd for the weekend.
Yeah,
and folks said it was really, really. Just a second here. Hold on.
Yeah, somebody's texting.
Give me 2 minutes. Pause the tape for a sec. Give me 2 minutes, okay?
I'll be just.
And we're back.
Oh, hang on. Did it stop playing? Yeah, I think it did. No, maybe it's still going. I turned on again and started playing the Godzilla tune. I'll stop it here. There we go. I don't know if it's going to show up or not. Someone will find out.
I can completely figure out where we're at. We were talking about budgets and films, and anyway, point being is I think the budgets have changed, and I think they're starting to go back to more proven directors. They gave a lot of people opportunities over the last 8 years that probably were not ready for the budgets they were given.
Mm-hmm.
And the box office failures have proven that.
Yeah. What the fuck's going on here?
The fuck?
No, it's okay. It's supposed to show something, but it's not. Default output device. But it's not doing it, see? Oh, I can hear it. Wait a minute. Where's my... When you do it, you can hear it. You can
do what?
I don't know. It's supposed to be doing something here. There you go. Output device. Comes out to me. Okay. Fucking piece of shit. I like the good old days. Just record shit. Anyways.
Do it live. Fuck it.
Yeah. Do it semi-conscious. Yeah, I don't know where we're going here. Oh, fuck. Ow.
I finished up. We were talking about how that they're going back. Hollywood seems to be going back to more tried and true ways of making money.
Yeah.
They've taken some big hits, and I think they're tired of doing it. And what I'm seeing for the next year's worth of making movies, they're done trying the new, Oh, I was talking about I Am Racist. That's it.
Oh yeah,
The-
yeah,
the-
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
That's
The
the ticket. Yeah.
yeah, the DEI film. I've seen clips from him, and they really, they really lampoon a couple of people. It's Borat. It's Borat for the DEI crowd. It's very good. It's well
Oh, yeah.
done. And the one of the biggest gets in the film deleted her ex account over it. She's like, "This is bullshit," but it's playing in it's playing in like 1,500 theaters. So I think
Yeah.
movie theaters are like, you know what? We don't care about the ideology. If it's gonna make us money, we're gonna fucking play it. And it made them money this weekend. So,
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer, you don't watch any of the Yellowstone stuff, do you?
No, that's a name I only hearing songs
Michelle-
a lot anymore.
Michelle Pfeiffer is going to be starring in a series called Madison, which is going to be set in the Yellowstone universe in present day. Schitt's Creek with cowboys, I think, basically.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna serve as an executive producer. I think it's nice. I think it's a refreshing take and a different role for her to be able to sink her teeth into. I loved in 1923 the hell's Helen Mirren
Oh yeah.
with Harrison Ford. I mean, oh my God, that series when you're watching Pierce Brosnan and Sir Bernard the Blackwire from HBO, and them all together in scenes, you're thinking to yourself, "My God, this is just cinema." It was cinema. You know, there are certain episodes I would have paid to see it in the theater.
Oh really?
So, yeah. So the fact that she's going to be in a new series, she's not over, like, she rarely does anything anymore. I can't remember the last time I've seen Michelle Pfeiffer in anything. It's been a while.
Well, the last I saw was Quantumania, the Ant-Man movie.
Oh yes, yeah. I blocked it from my fucking mind. That's why I didn't remember it. That would explain it. That was the beginning. That was like the bad hand job on prom night. Like that was terrible.
Yeah.
Like that was the end of my love affair with Marvel. I would have gone to see anything, and I was like, at the end, I remember walking out, and I was like, oh fuck this. No, you're gonna have to make me a little.
You're gonna have to
make
earn
me
earn my trust back, and
yeah, fuck
no,
that.
So
I saw this and I wrote this down because you recognize the name Jack Carlson. He's the guy. He passed away at 82, but he's the guy. To me, he's a pop culture icon. He's the British guy. I was eating a succulent Chinese meal. Get your hand off
that
my
guy! I saw that clip. Yeah.
When I heard he passed away, and I'm thinking, if I ever get arrested, I don't give a fuck what they do. If they punch me in the face, some of that dialogue is coming out of my mouth. This is manifest destiny. Get your hand off my penis. I watched that clip like 10 times a day. Each time I laughed. That guy, he's like, oh, yes, you know your judo well. Just a legend. A fucking legend. That's the best arrest I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And it was already, they're like, he's in Australia. Come on now, get in the car. I am not getting, how dare you get your hand off my penis. Fuck. Anyway, guy passed away at 82. And it was like everyone I was watching that, they're retweeting that clip, just fucking legend. Just a legend. Everyone who's ever been arrested wants to go out just like that. Having a bunch of fucking cops have to pull you in the car and you just doing absolute poetry while they're doing it.
I forget how I found that. So,
well, the thing is, at the end, they weren't sure his real name. Up until the day he died, they have no idea what his real name was because
really?
he had been such a con man his entire life that no one knew what his real fucking name was. Like can you imagine how much? But that was just a Chinese meal.
Yeah.
How many people and how much of the system did he fuck over 80 years?
Yeah.
And just got away with it, you know? Catch me if you can, that kind of shit.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Great guy. You like Aerosmith?
Oh yeah, I mean back in the day, I listened to their stuff on the radio, but I've never really. I picked up maybe one album or on cassette when I was out, but other than that, no.
You probably heard, of course, they're retiring.
Yeah,
and
they retired because of
Yeah.
His damage to his vocal cords.
That was very surprising to me. That was like, I didn't expect that. A lot of those bands out there, they're still out there. They're still playing. I mean, Metallica just played here in Edmonton, 2 fucking shows and just blew the roof off the place.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in their, I think they're in their mid 60s now.
Yeah.
And those bands just are not stopping. I mean, the Stones just came through here about two months ago in Vancouver. You know, and I always say when a lot of them in their 60s and 70s now, it's like, God, they get us. And then Mick Jagger will put out a new fucking album. It's like, Jesus Christ. You know, he's 80 years old. And he takes a portable gym with him everywhere he goes.
Oh, really?
And yeah, he does. Two of the, and I read this in an article, 2 of the trucks that go are nothing but his gym equipment.
Wow.
And The Rock does that. The Rock does that too also. But, you know, when I heard there, Steven Tyler, I mean, I really, you know, I knew Dream On, but I never really caught into Aerosmith until they came back with Permanent Vacation in '86.
Mm-hmm.
And Walk This, actually it was before that, it was Walk This Way. And they took a lot of shit for that. You know, because it was a rap genre and they thought this is stupid. But I'm telling you, it introduced them to a whole new audience and it cemented them. It cemented them as one of the greatest rock and roll bands in the world. But when he said that he just couldn't go on and he wasn't going to do it, I hope that over the next couple of years, as is, you know, your body, like a lot of wrestlers have gone through that, where it'll heal enough that like, okay, I'm back. You know, I can go back to wrestling. I'm hoping he's able to sing because, you know, the whole band, and kudos to them. When they said, Steven can't sing, we're done.
Yeah.
The 5 of us are done as a band. I hope that he's able to come back and do it, but I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but great band. I know I had all their cassettes. I don't have any of their albums, but they've been going since the early 70s.
Yeah.
You know, just an amazing band.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler. Good.
There's a big stink about this lady taking over for Limp Bizkit, is it?
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, yeah. Someone like the family, the son's all upset because of it, but you know the band wants to keep going, so
yeah.
There's more than one guy, right?
Yeah. It's I think it's because of the female lead. I haven't heard. I actually don't know that much about Linkin Park. I really don't. I don't know their music very well, so I can't comment one way or the other. But I watched Navarro, Gary Navarro, not Suicidal Tendencies. What band was that? It's another band from the 90s I really didn't know, but these 2 old men fist fighting on stage.
Oh yeah, I saw a clip of that.
Yeah. And it's funny. They released one of the. I want to get their names right. Dave Navarro and what the fuck was the band? Not Suicidal Tendencies.
Fuck, I don't know.
Jane's Addiction.
Oh, okay.
Jane's Addiction. Yeah, Jane's Addiction.
Jane's
And,
Addiction. That's the not
Jane's
Jane.
Addiction. Yeah,
Jane Addiction.
Yeah, Jane's Addiction.
Dick.
Yeah, and they were saying, because someone had released a thing saying that the band was playing so loud, and he couldn't sing over the band.
Oh yeah.
And he thought they were fucking with him.
Yeah.
And the people in the front row were saying, "We can't hear you," and that's when he got pissed off. But it was like old men fighter. Just okay, this looks bad. It just. But I mean, it's a shame that they got in a big fight because. You know, it wasn't Axl Rose at Circuit 88. It was just a bunch of old men fighting on stage.
On stage, too. Good place to do it. So.
Yeah. And she showed the video, and the lady who posted on Instagram, like one of the guys put him in a headlock and gave him a couple of punches in the gut while they were going off the stage. Like, yeah, it was fucked up. It was fucked up. It was, you know, when you're young and cool and in your 20s, you can get away with that band bullshit, but when you're doing it in your 60s, you just look sad.
Yeah,
so,
and then someone finds out that the mic was just off.
Yeah, that's all it was. They were just pissed off over that. But I guess he's never really, you know, he's still having trouble. But I said I don't know much about the band. It just caught my eye. I was thinking, why are those 2 old men fighting on stage? It was just weird.
Yeah.
But a lot of those bands from the 90s, and I had a discussion with Susan about this the other night, they're not going to be touring. You know, there's a lot of 80s, 70s, and 80s bands that are still out there, but things started falling apart. Pearl Jam's back out there, but a lot of bands in the 90s, they're either Kurt Cobain in that vein, or they're just broken up a long time ago. You know, You go from 75 to 2000 and 2000 to 2025. I would love to see a comprehensive list of all the bands from those two 25-year-old genres that are still touring today. I bet you it'd be pretty sad on the 2000 to 2025 side.
Wow. No, there's some albums that when we went to that place to look at, there were some albums. I was looking for some funk. I like old some funk, 70s funk, and Motown.
Yeah.
If I had the money, I'd buy some, but because of the electrical system, the way it's done up in my place here, you got to unplug. I don't know if you ever seen an episode of Green Acres, but in the Green Acres, you're in this old house, and he has the wiring system, and he has it set up so you've got to plug the teapot and plug it in. Because if you have too many of different ones in at the same time,
it'll short it out.
Short it out. So he had a wiring system where you had to plug stuff in and plug out. It's the same what I got to do here.
We have it in the house. It's an old house, and it's 1950, and we have a thing where if we plug in the toaster and the broiler oven out in the kitchen, and we don't unplug the fan in the living room, it'll blow a fuse. It'll blow the breaker.
Yes, you know exactly what I mean then.
Yeah, it's an old house. It's an old house.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about funk and Motown, I bought a couple of Billy Joel's "Innocent Man" from 1973.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I listened to it. I listened to it once. I listened to it again today, and the quality of storytelling on those albums. And MTV changed it in the 80s because they needed those 4-minute songs.
Yeah.
And that was the gimmick that changed music, where they needed to package it a little more. But I've been listening to this Piano Man from 1973, and the storytelling in this album is just fucking beautiful. Yeah. And I kind of knew it was, and I've never really gotten into those albums from Bob Seger and Elton John and Billy Joel and Springsteen, even from the 70s. Yeah. They just have, we know Queen. Everyone knew Queen had these 6-minute songs, and Pink Floyd, but everyone did back then because it's before MTV. They didn't need it to be 4 minutes. If it was a 6-minute song, it was a 6-minute song. Mm-hmm. So there's some really beautiful music because I listened to this, and there's 2 songs on it that I was thinking, these are great songs. I've never heard them before. So I love having a record player now. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. I got some. I should get in there and figure out how to hook this up again because so I can do some of that stuff. Because I've got some Billy Joel here.
There was one downside.
What's that?
Oh, from your brother?
Yeah. Well, my brother had a bunch of albums too, right? He's got like Cher and stuff like that, and I said, give them to me. Well, I don't want to, and eventually I said to him, listen, are you ever really going to listen to them? No. I said, well, I bought a record player, and the only reason I haven't played it is because we just talked about the electrical system.
Yeah.
I said, but I bought a record player, and at least I'm going to use them. I said, I'm not going to sell them on you. I'm not doing that. I'm not selling them. I want to listen to them. So I finally got them all, and there's some in there. So I've got to check them out again. Like I said, I got to figure out how to, or I could. I may have mentioned this a long time ago, but when I was gonna go build the van out and get my own power system, I bought these lithium big power banks. Right.
Nice.
I just thought, fuck, I'll just charge the power bank up and plug the record player into that. Get some use out of it.
That'll do it.
Yeah. But
one downside to buying albums, I bought Springsteen's Born to Run. Mm-hmm. The first song on the first side skips. I was like, you motherfucker. But you realize very quickly that's why people switch from albums. But yeah, I was listening to Born to Run, and I heard the first skip, and I walked over and I looked at it, and it's not a scratch on the album. It's just a skip, a factory skip.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, it's Born to Run, so I was like, it's just one song. But I was like, fuck, that's why albums went away, because people were like, this is bullshit. Yeah. But I was thinking, actually, it's one that I bought just yesterday, and I was thinking, I wonder if I took it back to that guy, that cash only guy, and said, look, I just bought this yesterday. Born to Run skips first song, second side. Yeah. You take refunds, and he'd probably say, get the fuck out of my store.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I thought about that, I'll have to start doing that. I just started reading a Doctor Who book. We'll talk about this later. Just finding the only problem is about reading. I like to read, but the problem is it makes me tired, and then I want to go to sleep. It relaxes me, right? Makes me calm and stuff. So,
Well, I'm down in my little lair down here now, and I find I do more reading down here because I shut everything off. I don't have any distractions, and I keep it about 20 degrees. And I have this chair. I find if I'm laying down reading, I'm out in like 15 minutes. But when I sit in this chair and I'm not all curled up, I can focus a bit more, and I tend to do a lot more reading. Actually, I was reading that autobiography from Christmas time there on Patrick Stewart. I'm working my way through that. And I read more. And you mentioned at the shop, I'm on social media less, and I do a lot more just other stuff. Like that's why I think that's part of the reason why I started buying albums, because I needed other stuff to do than just fuck around on social media.
Speaking of Patrick Stewart, one of the things I'm catching up on a lot, the series of American Dad.
Okay, yeah.
And Patrick Stewart there is the head of the FBI, and I just fucking love hearing him talk on there about different stuff.
He said he was doing American Dad.
Yeah.
He was doing theater, and he said, I used to love talking to people because I would be doing this highfalutin theater, and then I'd be doing the naughtiest stuff during the day. And it's fucking. I've heard the dialogue. I've never watched the show, but I've heard the dialogue. It's hilarious.
He said you see the start of this one show. It's like a spaceship coming down, and you see these looks like would be alien glasses looking at this couple.
Yeah,
and it's him. Oh. Sitting up in a tree with these fucking glasses with a box of popcorn, watching these two kids make out.
Yeah. It's just when you take someone, if you take someone like that and you put him in any goofy circumstances, it's twice as funny.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't expect him to do it.
Well, especially when the character on the show looks like him, right?
Yeah.
Got this area, and it's him, and you're so used to him, Star Trek and other stuff, and he's so defined, and oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's Ian McKellen's done some of that too. Ian McKellen has done some of that too on Extras. Ricky Gervais' series. I'm gonna watch that. I just haven't had time to get it yet, but it's again same idea where they're doing this naughty stuff that you wouldn't expect from classically trained actors.
Oh shit. So yeah, I actually had to stop it. That's what I was looking over. I had running, but I was missing some of the shows. But what?
I'd mentioned this before. Research that Americans had been flocking to UK streaming content since the strikes. And then I went to some of the UK streaming sites, and I get it. There's a ton of good shows on there.
Yeah, so you're into the drama and mysteries and
and there's a lot of good shows.
I actually complained to Paul about that one time. I said, "You guys really love murder mysteries and murders and shit," because that's all you ever have on TV. And he kind of laughed. Yeah. You can ask him about that when we record in a couple of weeks. But I says I'm more interested in the comedies and stuff like that. But yeah, they produce a lot of stuff, and I don't know. Maybe 20 years ago, I might have been more interested, but not now. But you can go to what is it? BritBox. It's here in Canada.
BritBox, yeah.
That's the one you would get, and they have a bunch of stuff on there. I had it for a while, but I ran out of stuff to watch, and it was mostly their shows were always drama-based murder mysteries.
Yes,
and stuff.
Sue watched Broadchurch. Is that what it's called? The one with David Tennant. Yeah. She watched that and Call the Midwife.
Yeah.
She watched 3 or 4 of the series. Jack Taylor, I think, was another one. He's the guy from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Who was pining over. We'd started watching Doctor Who, but we never got into it. I think I'm going to start watching it at work, actually. I think I'm going to BritBox, because the episodes are about as long as my breaks, and I can watch one a day. But I want to watch them from the beginning. But we started watching it, and it's almost like if you're going to watch the whole thing, it's such a commitment that you just kind of watch it every now and then.
Tubi, if you go to Tubi, It's free service,
Mhm.
and they have all not all they have from the start, right back from
61.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have every episode because a lot
Mhm.
of them have been lost, recorded over or lost.
Yeah.
But some of them they have found the audio, so they do an animated version of it.
I heard that. Yeah.
So
I
I
heard
enjoy
that.
those because they can explore a little bit more than the actual live action. They can add a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I just actually before we started, I was watching. I was going to watch the last of. I have to check what season it, but there's one more season with Troughton. What the hell?
Okay.
I liked him. I like his version of the Doctor. But then after that, then there's oh fuck, I can't remember his name now. But anyways, it's not Tom Baker before Tom Baker, but
Yeah, I knew Tom Baker was your favorite one.
yeah, Tom Baker is my favorite, and my new one is the. He just said his fucking name from Dave Tennant. He's
Dave Tennant, yeah.
But
have you watched any new stuff?
I'm gonna sound like an old man, and it's just it's because through the years, I know there's always been sort of social commentary, but it's just that when it's I don't know when they kind of like blatantly do it, and then also when the showrunner says you're gonna get more of this and you're gonna like it, I just stopped.
That's industry wide. It's ideology taking over the story. It really is.
And the thing is, I know the actor's gay in real life, but I like him. He's a very good actor.
Yeah.
It's just the stories. You don't have to do that.
He doesn't have to just pound away and just put it in your mouth every single episode.
Just deep throat me.
Hammer
all the time.
away at it.
Balls against the chin.
Pull you by the hair of the head and just.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay.
It's got some of the lowest ratings. It's had this last. As I said, I don't watch it, but I see the ratings. The Nerdrotic guys take them. They don't even talk about it, which is scary. When the folks who are attraction just say they're done. We beat them enough. But I mean, the ratings were the lowest they've ever been for Doctor Who. They were like under 2 million. It was just brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that when I go watch these old ones, they were just concerned about telling a story.
Yeah.
It wasn't about let's make sure we have this in here because we have to because they haven't been, and suddenly that small voice is bigger than everything else. So
it's amplified.
Yeah. And I go back and watch the old ones because I just want a story.
Yeah.
Like
it's ideological amplification. It's big. It's what's hurting Hollywood the most now.
Yeah. So I probably won't until I see a change where they go back to telling me stories.
Yeah. I
don't even want to try and attempt to see if there's anything in them. Like later
on. When did you stop watching? Was it after
actually, it was. I watched the one with Dave came back, right, and then they did the split Doctor Who's, and then I watched the first couple episodes, and then the one with the fucking talking babies.
Okay.
I just fuck off. This isn't even good. It says okay. I just no. Sorry. This is awful. I mean, a boogie monster was made out of real snot. That was
a boogie monster in snot.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then the doctor is saying it's a sentient being. We gotta save it.
Snot monster.
Yeah. It could.
You gotta roll it up and save it for later. Or?
Yeah.
It's. I haven't talked to Paul to see if he's still watching it or not.
I don't think Paul does.
Yeah.
No, I think he stopped a long time ago.
That's amazing. I think it may actually get canceled, which would be just, actually
Well,
in that vein.
Disney bought a shit bought for a fuckload of money. So
Yeah, they won't cancel it then. They'll just make it in their own view. In that vein, I watched an interview that Stephen Amell did with Chris Van Lay. He interviews wrestlers. And one of his quotes got traction because, did you see Peacemaker?
yeah, this TV show. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. In that show, he took a swing at Green Arrow where he made him like sound like a brony. He made a joke of him.
Yeah, yeah.
And Stephen Amell, he was like, I'm pissed because I'm pissed but I'm not. He said our show, and it's the first time he ever said it. I was very surprised. He said our show got treated like absolute shit by Warner Brothers, and it's a really fascinating 5 minutes of the interview because he basically said what I know he was thinking at the time, and everyone else thought. We got fucked around and passed over. No movies for us, built-in audience. It was right there, and they just buried us. And he said, yeah, so when they did it, I was like, go fuck yourself. It was interesting to hear the star of that universe finally say what all of us were thinking, and I'm guessing a lot of the stars were thinking, like, how did you fuck this up? It was a very interesting interview.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Lost my train of thought. That's okay. I just fell off the wagon. Yeah. But you got me going on about Doctor Who and shit like that. So I go back and watch the old ones. Go back. Stop.
Go ahead.
You know what? I would take, even though I was not a fan of how the show was run with Jodie Whittaker, I didn't dislike her. I just thought she had really bad writing for the show.
Yeah.
I would still take her bad writing over the nude one.
It's bad as it sounds. You can't hire by skin color. You can't.
No, see, but that's like I mentioned earlier. Like, it's not him. It's not the actor. It's the
writing. It's the writing.
Russell T. Davis, who I didn't really give a fuck, but decided it was time to let people know he was gay. I didn't know he was. I didn't really fucking care. But now he said, because he's come out and there's, okay, this is probably totally wrong, but he just says, now we have a platform and we're going to start pushing this. We're going to shove it in your face, and I just no, because he was the runner when Tenet was on, I believe. Yeah, and the shows were great. They were just science fiction shows.
For clarity, I didn't mean I was talking about the lead. I'm talking about when you're hiring writers. You hire them for creative ideas. You don't hire them based on anything else. And there's a real push, and it's being pushed back against now. And you can tell because some of the quality of writing in the last 7 years, you fucking roll your eyes.
Oh, I know.
There's some of it.
You're talking about that thing, diversity thing.
Yeah, the DEI. Yeah, the DEI stuff. That a lot of folks they're firing. Yeah, they're firing, and that's why you're getting some shows. Some, I say. Some of them, there's been some good writing, but I don't think there's been as bad a writing in the last 7 years that I think I've seen in my entire lifetime in some stuff. And it's being pushed as this is awesome. And it's so weird. It's so weird. But I mean, that's why you're seeing a lot of people. And when I mentioned there, the research has shown that Americans have been flocking to UK stuff during the strike because they're done with it. If I have to watch this, I just won't watch anything at all. And I think that's the finale. That was Deadpool, where they were like, they said shit that you have not heard in years in cinema and on TV. And I hope it's a positive change going forward. I mean, until studios like that start pushing back and saying, okay, it's okay to do stuff like this. It's okay to be a little naughty every now and then. That's fine. What else do I got for news here?
That reminds me of that Ricky Gervais quote. What was it? He says, "How dare you think you're so superior that I can't, how's it, make fun?" There's a quote he says about that. Having that.
He's been selling liquor on Twitter. He's been selling liquor on X. Holy fuck. His Urban Barn is his brand.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he's fucking saying, he's taking ads that BBC turned down and turning them to ads on X, and it's fucking hilarious. If you ever have a chance to go to his handle he's selling a lot of booze just from saying the honest truth.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? This is more Crystal. He's saying, you know what? That one's more expensive and may taste better, but this will get you drunker. Just shit like that. You know what? He's like, it's great. He's actually posted some ads, and he had a guy he was doing it with where it was failed ads, and this guy was reading the dialogue, and it was just the raunchiest shit you've ever seen. He somehow, they tried to cancel him, and when he got up over that hump, he could say fucking anything, and he proved you can say anything, and that's why I think they dislike him. You can say anything, and it'll make you a billionaire. He's one of the richest comedians in the history of the UK. There was a list that was released, and he did it by just saying stuff you're not supposed to say, and that's the best lesson that anyone in the entertainment industry can learn. It doesn't matter. You can. There's only a few. You know, it seems like a lot of people, but it's just this minority horde. That's the term I started using, a minority horde. Not a lot of them. They're just really loud.
Yeah.
And but if you have a chance, Urban Barnes the Booze, and the ads are just fucking hilarious.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. So.
What do I got here?
Well, make it your last because it's 8:00 here. So. You can get on
Jesus.
Yeah. Like I said, folks, you got to thank him. He brings the news. I bring the
Bring the news. Ground and pound.
Scott still finds stuff to talk about in the entertainment business where I'm getting blah. But I do have, like I said, next show we're gonna start with stuff we watched. Stuff we watched this week. I watched in Dust.
Did you and Paul talk about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare?
I believe we did. We both really enjoyed it.
Okay, yeah. Well, give me a quickly brief of what you liked about it and what you...
I just liked it because it was just okay, it's a man movie. Let's put it that way, right? It's for men, okay? Women tag along. I'm not saying they can't enjoy it. I'm just saying I think the main audience was men, right? And then I'm sure there's a lot of women that loved it too. I just like the humor, the way this officer just carried himself. Harry Cavill's the lead, in the way he carried himself and just walked in with a I don't give a fuck attitude. You're hiring me, and you know I have this attitude, but you need me to do this job. So he's walking around. He's taking stuff when they first meet him. He goes, "Can I have a cigar?" And the guy goes, "Yes." And he reaches in, grabs a whole bunch, stuffs them in his coat. There's this one guy who, it's the Ian Fleming, the guy playing Ian Fleming. You know, he's got this really nice lighter. He just walks over. Oh, that's a nice lighter. Ends up talking to him, and as he's talking, he grabs it, puts it in his pocket, and it's just that arrogance, this confidence, arrogance about it, and he's humorous about it. The guy that plays Reacher. Insane.
Alan Richardson.
Alan Richardson. His character.
That guy in the comic shop looked exactly like him, by the way. Yeah. Telling you about.
So I don't know. I can't really describe it. I just liked it. It was a good action film where I didn't have to do a lot of thinking. I was quite surprised that it was actually based. I thought it was based on the SAS or the special services that the British developed.
Oh,
what the fuck happened there?
I don't know.
Wow, that the British developed.
I think the FBI just popped in. They are now recording. There's now 4 streams.
Yeah. That the special service that the British developed to fight the Nazis in the desert campaign. I thought this was a takeoff in that, but this actually is a group that did this.
A true story, yeah.
And they showed, I don't really go into depth in the movies. I really don't. I turn my brain off, and it's just real simple. Did I have fun? Did I enjoy it? Was it not too? It wasn't too stupid. Then I said, yeah, I enjoyed it. I had fun. It's just the characters were entertaining. The story was entertaining. The acting was good. I enjoyed the actors and the parts they were playing. I just the one scene with Alan Richardson, Harry Cavill and the 4 guys are kind of making out these plans of we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And there was this 2 a German showed up, and the next thing they got arrows in their back, and it's
Yeah,
Richards.
yeah.
And he picks him up and he grabs it and he grabs his hand and he starts walking, and then Harry goes, "Well, I guess we're doing this," because he was going to make this certain plan, and Richards' character just said, "Fuck it, I'm going in," right? And just those kind of things, like you and Paul are better describing the movies and stuff you like. Me, it's just real simple. It's a real plain. It's a simple man's explanation. I liked it. Good.
Did
action.
you release the last show yet? Did you release the last show yet?
Oh yeah, it's been out for a while.
Okay, I'll go listen. I liked it. It was an interesting story, but I didn't. The execution was just like a 6 to me. I thought they felt like the A-Team. Caval, where they were just walking through, killing everyone. It was kind of an A-Team thing.
Yeah.
It was like the Nazis were stormtroopers. They couldn't hit the side of broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
And it was tough to take them as any kind of a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been cooler if it had a more of a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible vibe to it, because there's a lot of good actors in that.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill. Now this is on me, because after seeing John Lithgow in the Crown as Winston Churchill, which he fucking became Winston Churchill. The guy who played Churchill was pretty rough. But that's just because I've seen so many good versions of it in Peaky Blinders and The Crown.
Well, you ever John? No. He played in Harry Potter. Not John Hurt. Not.
I know who you're talking about. Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman. He does a version.
Yeah.
Does a real good
yeah.
version.
I haven't seen that one yet, but
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen footage of it. I haven't seen the complete series,
Yeah.
but it was a really interesting story. I love the historical, because when I read about it, I realized it was a real thing. They really were heroes. They turned that war around when they were able to basically take out the U-boats who were just destroying the
fuel
supply.
Yeah, those supply lines to them. Yeah.
Yeah, supply line. So it was interesting. I just it's like they could have turned it into more of a Saving Private Ryan. They could have had a really strong movie, but it did feel like a bit like the A-Team. Actually, I was more interested in the story with Heron, Babs, Ulu, Sanmukon, and Marjorie.
Yeah.
Their story, to me, I found more tense than Caval. Because you're right, Caval and Richard, you knew they were gonna just fucking wipe through everyone.
Their job. They were the
Terminators.
Yeah, that was
they
their
were
job.
the tank. But the stuff between Marjorie and Marjorie and Heron, there was a lot more tension there, and I like that.
Yeah, they had their job was to outthink.
Yeah, it was the spy. I like the spycraft part more to that movie. Great cast though, but I just think it could have been a bit more if they had been a bit more serious.
I can understand your AT thing, because it was done by Guy Ritchie, and Guy Ritchie's famous for doing those.
He loves that shit. I know.
Yeah.
He loves it. Yeah. That's his shtick. I mean, I got that when I went into it, but when it really bombed at the box office, and I mentioned before about Richardson, that weekend he decided to just say, yeah, Trump's a dick. Like, of all the weekends to do that, he probably could have waited a couple of weeks until the movie had gotten out. Yeah. But it didn't do well, and for the cast that it had, I don't think it deserved all that. But I get why it didn't do as well at the box office as it could have. It was a great story. It was based on a really great story, though. But it's nice. There's not too many movies like that anymore. Like, especially based on World War II, they've kind of gotten away from that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was original, and that's interesting. It was original the same way Kevin Costner's new movie was, because there's not as many westerns being made, so it's original.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right, we're gonna end it there. It is
Hockey,
and I'm gonna. So okay. So that's the end of the show, folks. If you listen all the way through, I don't know what it's gonna sound like. So if you listen all the way through, thank you. I hope you tune into the downloads I do, the bonus episodes of old radio shows. And we'll be back in a couple weeks, unless Paul has to go to another birthday party. Then we'll be back, and all three of us will be back. And I'm going to break this down so it's nice and simple. I might not be able to get the special effects coming in the background, but at least you'll get us recording. Okay. So, ciao.
All right. Have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.
That's all, folks.
Thank you. Come again.
Why, you little?